All right, y'all. The tea is about to be hot today because today we're talking about letting go of people who don't represent your future. And I'm about to get Meisha in here. Meisha is from Atlanta. Let's get her in here. This is the tea, y'all, because me also, this is something that I am actually really interested in talking about because haven't we all been there at some point? Okay, let's get Meisha in here. Meisha, where you at, girl? Yeah, okay, Meisha. It's Meisha. Guys, the tea is about to be hot. Because somebody out there needs to. It just is what it is. Let me see. Meisha, girl, you there? Hey, Meisha!
One. Hi.
For you guys who are watching who don't know, Meisha is a Toronto native, right? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes. Hold on.
Okay,
Trying to
good.
set my trying to set my phone on this like tripod thing.
That's okay. I'm gonna talk. You look great. We love to see it. We love to see the black excellence. You look beautiful. Turn,
Thank you.
turn it this way so people can see you this way. There you go.
Let me try to set up my
And girl, let me tell you, I wrote down some notes today, okay? Because the tea is about to be hot.
oh my goodness.
Because I think this is a relevant topic. When you actually even like threw some topics out there, for anyone watching, I let Misha just like, okay, like, what kind of things you want to talk about? And this one stood out to me. And I was just like, yeah, for sure. Because this is something that I also struggled with in the past, if you will.
Yeah.
Misha, girl, you playing with emojis down there?
I'm trying to first time on live, but I don't like. Hold on.
I didn't know
Let me
you could
just
use a
take this
filter
off.
thing. No, you're good. You don't need a single filter, okay? Let me tell you, you don't need a single filter. You look
My phone is being hella weird. Like I can't even exit out of it. Hold on.
okay, guys. We're working through technical difficulties to be like that. You guys,
I'll just sit up like.
cool.
All right.
All right, so guys, today I'm sitting down talking to Misha. Misha is a Toronto native, but now you live in Atlanta.
Yes.
And I have a friend out in Atlanta who told me you can't say Atlanta. I was like, yeah, Atlanta. My sister's in Atlanta. He's like, no, it's Atlanta. So
Yeah.
I think it's great to just bridge our communities together.
Mm-hmm.
And this topic specifically, like I think really and truly, like I have been through times where it's just like I didn't know how to leave. I didn't want to leave, or I didn't want to be left.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I guess today we're just gonna chop it up. I know both on our stories we put some, questions out there today, like what made other people let go of people who didn't represent their future.
Yeah.
And I kind of just want to open it up with saying this. I wrote down some like the first point is you have to know what you want for your future. A lot of people have this question and they're just like, well, I'm like, well, this person, I don't think they fit my future. Okay, let me ask you, like, what does your future look like? What do you want? Like, a lot of people are out there, don't even know what they want for their future specifically, and then cut people off accordingly, or don't allow people, or allow too much people, or allow someone in your space.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you want for your future? Okay, like, you have to align those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think action step people should actually like take a piece of paper, write that shit down. What I want for my future. Is it a home? Is it, a partner? Is it being married? Is it having kids? Is it, whatever the case is? And then I mean, some people don't want kids. Some people don't want to travel. Some people don't want to live in the city that you want to live in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think off rip in partnership or even in friendship, like you have to kind of be like-minded in terms of what you want for your future to first of all to establish that.
Definitely. You can hear me clear, right? You can hear me
For
clear.
sure. I got you.
So I love all the points that you did make. I feel like people have to go through a particular fucked up point in their life when they're absolutely low to make them realize, yo, these are my people. Because everybody wants to surround themselves with you when you're up. Whenever
True.
You get what I'm saying? When everything is dandy, but when you're at your lowest point, unfortunately,
Right.
when you're really gonna see who your people are. And then that's when you're also gonna see who you are.
That's a big fact.
Yeah.
That one.
Because in the beginning, like, you know, people always want to be like, they want to be liked, they want to be loved, they want to be like, you know, they want to have good people around them.
Right.
But they know in their gut that, like, yo, like, this person ain't acting like a friend. That person ain't acting like a friend.
Right.
This person only hits me up when they need a favor. But they don't have, like, the balls at that given time to say, you know what, like, I know this friendship is not working. I need to end it. It always takes something major to happen for you to be like, you know what, I'm not doing this. Or it's for you to take that leap of faith to just be like, yo, I'm done with this friendship. So I'll speak on like my personal thing. Fina, you and I, we spoke about this, and I'll speak a little bit. I won't go too much into details, but like,
let them know.
Was like an eye-opener year for me. I was in a 11-year relationship. I was married for 2 years, 11, and you know, I ended up leaving my matrimony home. We separated. I moved out, and that was just like the top of it. But I also, while that relationship ended, also started to see a lot of these people that claim to be friends, how they were really moving. I pick up that a lot of people were celebrating that this perfect relationship that I had. A lot of people glorify. They're just like, yeah,
marriage, right? It was a marriage.
Yeah, marriage.
They were married, right?
They're just like, yo, I knew it. I'm happy. You know what I mean? And it's just like they were trying to like capitalize off of it. You know what I mean? They were trying to take advantage when I was at a very vulnerable state in my life. When I picked up on that, I was just like, yo, you're getting cut, you're getting cut, you're getting cut, you're getting cut. Because within that year, I moved probably 2 times. And that was stressful within itself. And it's just like, you know, I'm trying to be like, hey, could you like switch cars with me? Because my car wasn't bigger than she had. Made all sorts of excuses in the book as to why. Shorty lived like 5 minutes up the street from me.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But I would go out of my way for her. So, like those small things, I was just like, yo, like Meisha, you were giving a lot in friendships, and you were kind of receiving the bare minimum. And a lot of people looked at me as like, you know, Meisha has it all together. She's good. She'll figure it out. She's the.
You've been on your grind. You've been.
You know what I'm. But always the strongest person that go through, and they need help. They just don't.
Say it again for the people in the back. The strong people, them.
Like we generally take on a lot.
Yeah.
Our problems, we sometimes take on everybody else's problems by providing solutions and all that sort of stuff. Right. But going back to that, 2019, 2020, I cut ties with a close family member. I cut ties with people that I thought that I was cool with. I cut off my ex. You know what I mean? Generally, he just wanted to be separated. Right. But with a divorce because, like, you know what?
My girl said, "Look, give me the divorce."
You get what I mean? So it's just, but since then, I definitely found myself. I became a happier version of myself. You know what I mean? Oh, I think
it's all kind of chipping. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, but
you found yourself in that time. There's a lot of things. I'm gonna touch on a lot of things that you're gonna say because I'm mentally taking a note. Because
So I found myself in that time, and it was just like, yo, the moment that like I took back my energy,
right,
started to see like people's true colors, and it's just like, you know what, Meisha, like you knew from the jump just
Right.
empathize with these people and kind of push it moving forward. And since then, like, I feel like it's important to boundaries.
Mm.
It's so important to have boundaries and let people know, like, you're coming into my world.
Right, right.
And these are my rules and regulations of just like common ground. It's just like common respect and common decency that is important to have. And
Right.
that's why at this given time, I have no problems just cutting people off cold turkey.
Okay, so Meisha, we're gonna talk about that, right? Because I think, myself included,
Mm-hmm.
to get to that point is hard, right? Like, I know, yeah, that part for sure. Like, there's those quotes, like, you let go a little, you'll get a little bit of peace. You
Yeah.
let go a lot,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a lot of peace.
Yeah.
You let go completely, you are gonna get complete peace. And you hear these things and you're just like, all right, I guess I gotta let go. But that part, like, why is it so hard to let go? Like, we gotta walk people through that step of, like, you know what, how to let go. Because, like, I mean, whatever the case is, it's history. It could be like, you know, you've been friends for your whole entire life. Like, if you're empathetic, whatever the case is, like, it's not as easy as it just feels like, just to let go, right? And there's a lot of fear. So I don't know, like, walk us through something. Like, I think,
Yeah.
sorry, one thing you did say is that when you hit a low,
Mm-hmm.
then, like, it's almost like that turns on, like that, like, you know what, these people playing with me, you are playing with me, I'm about to cut your ass off. When you get to the actual angry step,
Yeah.
for me at least, that's the most beneficial time, or like the best time where I can just be like, all right, you gotta go, you are pissing me the F off. But other than that, if you're not really, like, pissing me off too much, you're just like annoying and doing other shit, like, I don't know, I have a bigger tolerance. So walk us through it. Like, how do you just let
So
go?
I definitely could like resonate with you a lot where it's just like, you know, you have tolerance. I had a lot of tolerance, but you have to ask yourself, who's hurting more, them or you?
Right.
You know what I mean? Another thing is like every situation that we're in is a relationship. So it's important for us to, you know, connect with each other 6 months, 9 months, and see, like, weigh out the pros and cons of how beneficial is this relationship in your life right now. Because every step of the way, you are evolving to a different person or a better version of yourself. You
Are
know,
you saying check in with the person or check in with you?
check in with you
Okay.
and then check in with that person. Because if you, like, let's say you have a best friend
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you start picking up on a couple of shiesty shit that's been happening and it's not sitting well with you.
Right.
You're sitting on the fact that, like, I've known this person for X years.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is where we mess up completely.
The time
We
bond.
fixate on the time that we have known this particular person, that we are overshadowing the disrespect that is being presented to us. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, for example, for me, I had people come to me and be like, you know, you should really work your marriage out because it's been 11 years. And I was just like, no. Everybody has an expiry date in your life. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, people know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they are willing to gamble those consequences of taking that, stepping over boundaries with you. So
Right.
when they look at you and they see you as like an empath or a good-hearted person, a generous person,
Right.
people want to take advantage of that
Right.
to benefit them. But when you when you become solid within yourself,
Mm.
you can't accept that.
That's right.
Be so forgiving to people who are boundaries. It's like, why are we so deserving to go through the pain because we want to see the good or dismiss what this person is doing to us?
Yes, I see the hearts coming up on the screen. Yes.
You know
I
what?
hear that. Yep.
So it's like when you put yourself first, you're not going to accept a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You really have to love on yourself daily. You
Right.
really speak positively about yourself daily. And as long as you're on that journey of trying to progress in life, there's just certain things that just
Right.
can't make it. It just
Can't
can't.
make it.
You know
Can't
what
make it. It's not time.
exactly? Like
Not
I
time.
that time shit out of my head because it doesn't matter. Everybody knows how to conduct herself. When you and I are speaking, there's a mutual respect between the two. I speak with respect. I don't care if I'm older. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? I look at you as a person. So
Right.
there's a common respect between the two. And I feel like no matter what relationship there is, there has to be that respect. And people always just want to see how far they can take it. You know how they say in Caribbean household, you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Like, you're nuts. Respect my boundaries for sure.
So you know what I mean? So it's just like you have to get real with yourself. You have to say, yo, Fina, how does this relationship with this person make me feel?
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself these questions.
Right.
And if you sit and ponder like, yo, you know?
Okay, so 11 years of marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right? Obviously married. This is great because for the people who are unmarried like myself, who are like, be dating or relationships with the cases, that's the goal essentially, right? Is to be married. So at 11 years, my thought in my head is people putting opinions. A lot of people are going to put opinions, like you said. And if you don't know yourself, if you don't even trust your own mind, and you haven't formulated your own thoughts, what is concrete, the things that you want, the things you're not going to tolerate, your boundaries. When
Mm-hmm.
people are telling you, oh, like, because I'm thinking about this analogy, the grass is greener on the other side.
Right.
But then also the grass is green where you water it. It could
Exactly.
be that too. So after 11 years of being married, some
Mm-hmm.
people could have been like to you, like, no, the grass is going to be green where you water it. You water it. But if you didn't know yourself and you didn't you could have tried this, you probably would have stayed, right?
Yeah.
You would have been like, all right, I'm gonna water the grass here. I'm gonna stay here. I put in 11 years of this marriage or,
Mm-hmm.
in this relationship, I am going to stay.
Yeah.
And I guess that is like a big thing. Like, I have like 3 notes here, right? Know what it is. That's our first one that I went over. Know what it is that you want
Mm-hmm.
for your future. And then if you don't know what you want for your future, then how can you plug anyone into your future? Doesn't make sense, right? Friendship, relationship, doesn't matter. Number 2, it has to be vice versa. Like, can you give a person what they need?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sometimes like you got to remove yourself from a situation. Some people are going to like want some things from you and you cannot give it.
Yeah.
I can't offer that to you. So you know what? I'm just gonna make that choice. You kind of got to stay over there,
Mm-hmm.
but because you're doing too much, or I can't do enough for you, right? And I think like kind of gets lost in translation sometimes because you always think about me. Like, can this person give me what I want? But can you give them also what they want? It has to be like discussed, like communication. Yeah, it goes for family too, 100%. Like,
The
it
important.
for sure is gonna go for family. And like you touched on that earlier. You said you have to let go of family members. Not all of your family, like just because you're blood, like people can be toxic. It doesn't matter if it's anybody. It could be anybody because, and you know what? I think there's one thing, right? It also speaking to my mind, right? Like empathy. When you're empathetic for people who have toxic behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I pull myself away. I'm like, okay, well, why does this person act like that?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're acting this way because they're hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're acting this way because it's their childhood and they haven't dealt with it. Let me see if I can help them deal with this childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't your responsibility. I've learned that now. It's not my responsibility to deal with anyone's childhood trauma. As respectfully, I have to deal with my own and solve that for myself. And other people are responsible for doing that for themselves too. And then at that point, you can have a healthy relationship, whether that's friendship, whether that's partnership, intimacy, whatever the case is. Like, we are not responsible for other people.
We're really not.
Yeah.
even touch base on what you were saying earlier about, you know, oftentimes when we're in a relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, we are looking for that person to give us something. But it's like, you can't expect that person to give you something that you don't even really know what you want if you're not even sure yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? The thing is, people who come into your life are supposed to add value. That's it. You're supposed to be whole from within. And I feel like this is where people get it all the way messed up, where they're just like, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me that, you didn't give me this. Well, did you look at the credentials, or are you still caught up in the lust phase? People tell you what they can and cannot do. People tell you exactly what it is. And for the most part, we bypass it, and boom, 20 years go by and you're unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I generally feel like it's important to really fuck with yourself heavy. Date yourself. Get to know yourself. When you
Loud.
get to that, you will know exactly what you require out of somebody.
Right.
Not for them to go out the way and jump through loopholes to give it to you. It's just within them to provide that what you need of that satisfaction. We can't look for love if you don't love yourself.
That's big facts.
Look for a luxury lifestyle if we cannot provide that for ourselves. You know what I mean? And it's just like, we hold on to things because, one, our childhood, our traumas. And the thing is like, we don't go into relationships with problems.
We shouldn't.
With this person that we have, we go into relationship with our baggage, and we unload and dump that shit on people and say, this is all because of you. This is why we point the finger, because for the most part, it's easier to point the finger opposed to taking accountability.
So what I'm hearing is we take those red flags and we pretend it's carnival, girl. We just freaking playing with these freaking red flags all the time. Like, we gotta stop. We gotta normalize, stop playing with these red flags. Like, these red flags are there for a reason.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time you know what I've come to realize, and I feel like I've done it in my own mind, is that I have just blanked out red flags because I needed to fill a void for something in my like something, like, I don't know what the hell, that's for me to do the research, right? To dig deep in my own internal like life. But like certain things that like I was always trying to avoid, or maybe like a missing or whatever, I would try to like compensate that and like look past it because certain things felt good. But that's me not knowing or loving myself enough. For sure. You know what I mean? Because when you not love yourself enough, you're like, well, this is what I know I bring to the table. This is what I can offer as a friend, or whatever the case is, as a partner to you. These are things that I'm not going to, look over anymore just to fill a void.
And you
stop playing flags.
Like, even let's speak on friendship. Like, are you a good friend to yourself?
Ooh.
That's what you gotta. Are you a good friend to yourself? If you are not a good friend to yourself, how are you going to be able to a platonic relationship with anybody else?
What do you mean be a good friend to yourself? Like,
you gotta
can I make myself laugh? Like, can I hang out with myself? Like, is that type of thing?
Do you enjoy your own company? Do you look out for yourself? Do you go out of your way for yourself? Are you happy with the relationship you have with yourself?
Right.
It all goes back to that. Like, it all starts with you. You're the seed, and then you have to start planting.
Are you kind to yourself?
Able to really attract those genuine relationships. Right. You got to be kind to yourself.
This is such a true saying. Someone said to me, whatever you're attracting, like, or whoever you're like in partnership with, and I guess that could be friendship, that could be relationship, but specifically relationship, because I think it's a little bit deeper. It's a complete mirror of you. like something there, you're mirroring something. So if you're with somebody that's, for example, like you think is very toxic, but you're with them, like just think about it, it's just like kind of a mirror. There's some toxicity inside of you where you're allowing it to happen. There's a complete mirror. So when things aren't going the way you want it to do, or want it to, and there's problems, you kind of have to really look inside you before looking at somebody else, right? Because it starts with you first. And that was a hard concept for me to like really pinpoint at first.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? But like, if you're doing, then you're allowing, right?
Exactly.
So
It's definitely true. And even when you're on the path of, you know, your self-discovery, you're on your growth journey, you're going to be tested every step of the way.
Let's talk about it, Meisha.
You are growing.
Why do they keep testing?
You're gonna be introduced to, you know, what your norm is. Your let's say it's the opposite sex, and you know you have a very particular taste. That taste is toxic. Thinking on yourself, right?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? You know, the Most High drizzle that man or that person into your life just to see how well you have progressed. And if you deny it, you pass the test. If you didn't, couple steps back. So that's also important. Every step of the way on your journey, you're going to be tested.
Don't fall to it.
There's no.
I've been really keen on that, right? Like, if that's like literally like if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, like at some point, like when do you not realize, okay, this clearly has to be a test. Like, am I going to handle the situation a little bit different? Because if I'm going to do the things the same way, I'm just going to get the same outcome. At that, I mean, it makes sense to me. You know what I mean? So you have to have the discipline. The discipline is where you really got to be like, you know what? No, you guys sound low. Eureka, man, turn up your volume. Nobody said that yet.
Let me try to.
But can everyone else hear us in the chat? If you can't hear us, just let us know.
I'm gonna turn it this
She said it was her phone, Eureka. Whoops. But yeah, you have to have the mental discipline really to just sit down and. So you know what? I'm gonna actually bring up some of the things that people said to me because I know it's relevant. One thing that actually was really surprising that people brought up is that in partnerships, one thing that made them want to grow people is that people didn't want to learn, right? If you are not coachable, I think a lot of people stay in a place because they're with potential. Like you try to hold on to your friendship. It could be the years, but you're like, you know what? This person has a lot of potential to do a lot of great things, friendships. But I mean, now that we're at this age, you know it, and I know it too. There's some people who have been doing the same shit since we've been 18. Now still doing it closer to 30. They're still on the same shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And once upon a time, like, yo, I tried to be there. I tried to, like, you know, pull you out that mud, You still doing the same shit 10 years freaking later. Could you imagine if I had stayed in that position? Yeah. Tried to pull your hand and freaking grab you and carry you all the way through? Like, people, you have to look at the coachability index, right? Whether that's friend or relationship. Yeah. Because if someone is not going to listen to you and can't actually, like, mentally absorb, like, what it is that you're trying to say, whether that's needs that you're asking them to do, or for things that they need to back off from, or things that feel uncomfortable, that they don't like. And if they're not hearing that, not coachable, big one, they got to go. Yep. Anyone who can't be coachable on those things, they got to go. I told you already, dude.
But this is the thing too, like it's great that you're able to identify with that, right? And the most important thing going forward, no matter what new relationship comes our way, we cannot fall for the potential. You know what I mean? We fantasize, or we make up this thing in our head where it's just like, this person could be this. But we have to go with what is being presented in front of us. You know what I mean? I get to a point, even like just speaking to people, if I provide you with a solution and you still keep doing the same thing, I will look at you and say, hey, do what works best for you.
That's it.
I'm not wasting my time anymore trying to help you, because you don't want to be helped. You just want to talk. And it's cool. I would much rather that be said.
Right.
But I learned not to waste my breath going
Right.
forward. Because anybody that wants change, or when anybody wants something, come high, come low, they're going to find a way. So in my eyes, how I would take it, you don't want it bad enough. So
Facts. It comes down to people want it. If you really want it, you'll do it.
Exactly.
And it's not fair to drag people through the mud while you decide whether or not you're going to do it or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think at least you could be honest about that too. You could let people know, like, listen, I actually don't.
And now, like, you know, before, meisha used to be very, you know, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
But now I'm very, like, straight to the point. If I feel like you are trying to cross boundaries, or you're trying to test me because I am calm,
Right.
or some people like to call me nonchalant,
right.
So they feel like they could really try to, like, walk all over me. But I call people out on their shit to let them know, like, I see what you're doing. This is a warning.
Right.
And don't be surprised when you try to call or text me and it's green.
Facts.
I have zero tolerance for that right now, because it's just like, I know I worked on being very peaceful in my life. I'm not gonna have your disrupted soul trying to come and fuck it up.
You know what? I think it's a good reminder for B, because, like, I think people, excuse my language, people get effed up, right? You're so friendly and whatever the case is. Like, me sit down in my nice little peace. I'm peaceful. I have, you know, my people, whatever the case is. When people, like, kind of, like, juxtapose their presence and their energy, yeah, it bothers me. I'm like, I'm just trying to, like, listen, I didn't ask for this, eh?
Yep.
I'm not asking for nothing. I'm very peaceful as it is. So being firm with just letting people know, like, listen, this is my peace, this is my space. I just no time, no this, no nothing. Like, yo, I'm just being very peaceful right now. You can't be here. And you work, because especially when you work hard for that peace. When people work hard for their peace, and people try to test it, but that's what you said, right? Like earlier, when you get to a low, when you're angry enough, or when you get to that, like, you bring it out of yourself, where it's like, I'm not gonna let people do that to me. It is what it is. I have a question here. How do you navigate relationships with people who are in a different stage of their growth journey? I don't think, okay, so I have a thought with this. I think sometimes, you know, I've heard in relationships before, sometimes, because we're human, right? Sometimes your partner is going to be at 10%, and you might have to be the 90%. Because some people will be like that, right? So when we're talking about, like, people have to, like, take care of you and thing, but, like, I mean, we're human. So some days I'm going to have a low day, so my partner or my friends are going to have to pick up for me. So in that case, you know, yeah, like, maybe people are at the different stages of their growth. Like, some people aren't able to help themselves as much as other people are, you know, your friend or your partner. So what would you say to that?
I would say to that, it's teamwork, right? And it's important to, you know, be there for your partner when they're at their lowest.
Right.
But there has to come to a point where your partner or your friend can't be in that low point for too long.
Facts. Okay.
Because that's when they get comfortable. And they prefer to stay in that comfort. So if you notice that this has been going on for a year, a couple years,
girl, a year, girl.
I know, I was being nice. I was gonna say like 2-3 months.
You're giving people 2 months.
You have to have that sit down with them to be like, hey, you know what? I'm noticing this. Like, what is going on? How can I help? But if they are declining your help at the same time, and there's not much that you can do, unfortunately, you're gonna have to reevaluate the situation.
That's fact.
You might have to just step back and say, you know what, you do not want the help from me.
Right.
I tried my best with my resources on how I could really help you as your partner, but this is what I'm getting. It's important to have that conversation. Maybe they'll understand then, like, hey, I'm about to lose this person too. Or it's just like, yo, like, the relationship might just have to come to an end because there's only
Right.
so much you can give,
Right.
if
So
that makes sense.
let me recap that. Maybe, if anyone's just tuning in, we were asked what happens when people are at different stages of their learning growth, right? And I think what Misha said is important. So one, check in with people. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you see if someone is at a 10 and you need to be 90% and pick up the slack for them, that's okay. We're human, but check in with them. Okay, how are you dealing with this at this present moment? Is there anything I can do? Right? And you can't stay in that place too long because it's true. Like people are attracted to trauma,
Yes.
especially if you had like a traumatic experiences, childhood, or whatever the case is. Some people actually like them say what misery love company,
Yes.
right? Misery love company. So some people actually will stay in that place, and then I mean, you don't deserve to stay in that place forever, right? And especially if you're giving them the tools or you're offering them support to help them get through it, and they're not being coachable, then yeah, they you gotta go.
You have to go. And
Um,
it's harsh, but like I think
I
you
think there was another one that people said a lot. Friends that think their problems are bigger than everyone else, it's so draining. And I think this is a huge one. Like, guys, everyone goes through some things.
yes.
Real talk, everyone is gonna go through some things, right? But there's some people who like literally their life, and I've been around those type of people, like those draining type of people. Every day it is like, well, this and this and this and this, and it's honestly, I'm not trying to discredit anyone's pain or what they're going through, but it's very um it's very simple to ground yourself in those moments. Like, okay, I'm not saying that your thing is not wrong, but after how many days of or sobbing about this, or actually years of being in this behavior, there's people out there who literally don't have food to eat today, dude. They don't have food. They don't have a freaking roof over their head today.
Exactly.
And you're like, there's only so much I can listen. Like you said earlier, there's only so much you can listen to someone talking about the same thing and they don't want to change it.
Yeah.
But then at that point, I gotta go. I gotta remove myself from this situation because it's insanity. That's insanity. Like doing the same thing
Yeah.
over and not, like not changing. You're not gonna get a different result.
Exactly. And it's just like when when I had friends around me that would constantly just call and just bitch and complain, or if I'm hanging out with them and they're
Right.
just bitching and complaining, and I said, hold on, did you wake up this morning? Yes. You have food in the fridge? Yes. You have a roof over your head? Yes.
Yes.
You're very rich in life. You're very rich in life. And I feel like a lot of people dismiss that because also we have social media, right? Where everybody is projecting the good side of their life. So everybody has this FOMO kind of energy, like the fear of missing out or like being left behind while everybody's succeeding. And it's just like we judge our life so much based off of what we see on social media that we don't even know what reality is. And it's so messed up. So people are putting themselves through this pain because of what they see, like Kim Kardashian has, or what they see this next celebrity has. Like, you know what I mean? Like, constantly comparing yourself
Mm-hmm.
to what other people are freaking doing is just mind boggling. And it's a sign that, baby, maybe you need to get off the internet real quick. Maybe you need to detox and really analyze where you currently are in your life.
I really say this all the time. If
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have Instagram for like business purposes or
Mm-hmm.
like community, I would probably have to come off Instagram because
Yes.
it is gonna tear, or social media. That shit will come in between a lot of things for sure. You
It
gotta use
really
this. You gotta use these social apps as like tools because it can get very blurry and very jaded and very crystal. You know, your eyes them can bug and think real fast.
Yes, it's super important, and even something that I do with myself now, like my phone is always on do not disturb.
My thing.
I have no social media notifications. When I pop in, I pop in, but for the most part, like I kind of want to be present in my life. I want to
Gotta know yourself.
I want to know like what's going on in my life. I want to really tap in with myself. I don't care what's going on with like the latest celebrities or like who has the latest designer bags or whatever, or who got flowers for fucking Valentine's Day. Excuse my language. I'm gonna try to stop swearing.
Sure, man, sure,
But
sure, sure. I
you
think
know what I mean? Like you got to use social media for what it is, especially now everything is online based for the most part. But like you have to have that mental strength to just understand what is reality and what is just for social media. And you know, it is draining to be around people or to surround yourself with people who one only want to hit you up when they need good energy.
right.
Two constantly are in the same position that you left them in 6, 12 months ago.
Right.
It's draining.
Right. Right.
And it's just like, I personally can't take it.
Right.
I can't take it. For me and where I'm at now in my life, I need to be mentally stimulated. I need to have, like, when I'm talking to friends or family,
Mm-hmm.
I need to have a real good takeaway from the conversations that I have with them.
And that, like, I think Misha, they need to normalize that.
Yes.
Like that, remember back to the beginning point, that is what you want for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what you want for your life, nobody can tell you, oh, you're being selfish. That's what the frick you want. So yeah, if I require something to be stimulating now, not the potential of it being stimulating, I need it to be stimulating right now. Yeah, come on, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, to me, like, that's super important. Like, I don't want to hear stories about the latest celebrities. I want to hear about the latest book or audiobook that you listened to. I want to hear about an experience you had going to Costa Rica or something like that. Like, I want to hear, like, interesting things. You know what I mean?
This is a side note. Now that I'm just in the middle of this live, I actually do want to have another live with you, but that's solely on navigating through divorce.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Because that is, I mean, listen, you gotta listen to married people. You gotta listen to people who have done it, you know, for the things that you want. I have one thing, I kept it on my screen. I'm reading everyone's comments as they go by, but Danley said, more times when we finally let go, we realize we've been fighting to let go of what was always gone. Whoa.
Yep.
Some things they're already gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone. Have faith. I feel like this is one thing that I had. Like my third point was, don't be scared. It's divine timing.
Yes.
So like you said, it's the FOMO. It's literally the fear. That's why we don't let go of shit, because we're just like the fear. Like, what if I miss out on the potential? Or what if you win the lotto and I'm not there? Like, bro, like if you don't know yourself, you're not secure with yourself, then you're gonna attach yourself to other people.
Yes.
And to their luck and to their doings. And you can't do that. So a lot of the times when we're fearful of letting go, those things are already gone. They're already gone. The ship has done sailed. Exactly. You just gotta accept it. You gotta accept it. You gotta believe that it's divine. You gotta believe that that is the way it was supposed to go. And I mean that same too. Like, if good things are meant to be, they will be. So you just have to have faith. You have to literally stay strong, you know?
Exactly. And the thing is like, me and my sister Khadijah, we have a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
And a couple of things that like I was expressing to her is that, like, you know, we build our decisions off of thoughts and not actual facts. So those thoughts are what our emotions are. and it's not actual facts.
Mm.
And we kind of hurt a lot of relationships, have a lot of bad bloods in relationships based off of our thoughts and what we think might happen or what had happened. You know what I mean? When it could simply take a phone call to be like, hey, you know, this is what I'm noticing. I would love to hear what's going on with you. Is everything okay? A quick phone call, a quick conversation could really solve a lot of things and help you identify certain areas of where you stand with people in relationships. And then another thing too is that a lot of us are either in our past or worried about our future. And the most important thing that's being neglected is the present. And that's the only thing we have control over.
Only thing.
The only thing.
Big fact.
We can't go back in time to change anything. And in order for us to have a future, we have to implement what we're doing today.
Y'all heard that?
That's all we have control over. So it's just like even when I hear like people come to me and talk about like the same stories, and I'm like, sweetheart, that happened 6 months ago. You have to make an executive decision on if you're going to heal and move forward, or you're going to choose to just stay there because you're comfortable. You have to be very mindful when you value your life and you value your time and your energy. You are going to be very particular and strategic on what you take in, what you're listening to. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What you're welcoming, the information that you're taking in. And I feel like that's super important. And I've learned a lot with these past 3 years of just being single and by myself. You know what I mean? I came out of a comfort zone of someone that, you know, I did think that was going to be a lifetime relationship, and I thought, you know, we were both on the same page, because even after we kind of separated, a year afterwards, we did get on good terms, and we did have conversations. You know what I mean? Just to see where we both were. Mm-hmm. And I'll speak light on that. With that situation, the reason why I was okay with us separating and me divorcing him is because, one, we were in a relationship since we were young. I was like 18. You know what I mean? And we kind of outgrew each other, and we didn't get to experience life on our own. And I feel like that is something that is very important. You know what I mean? When I first moved out, my first condo was with my ex. Right. I never had the experience of living by myself.
And you have to. You need that.
And you do need to go. You do need to go through those stages in your life. And I was very understanding of it too, because, you know, one thing I can respect about him, he never stepped out on me. He never stepped out on me, and I will always respect that. And I kind of set that boundary. And he was young, you know what I mean? He's 2 years older than me, but I do feel like, you know, he probably felt like he was missing out on the young boy life. You know what I mean? And for me, like, what I felt like I was missing was just Meisha fucking with herself. You know, traveling the world, doing things that, like, I didn't have to think twice of having a partner for.
By the way, y'all, she picked up and left Toronto and moved to Atlanta.
Yeah, I
hear you, but like, you're actually putting those things in action steps. You're doing. Proud of you for doing that.
Thank you. So it's just like, you know, like I completely understood that, and it's just like, you know, I know that he and we could be cool, but I don't want us to be friends, and I don't want us to like step over any sort of boundaries, because we really need time to just really focus on ourselves. And I don't go back in lifestyle. So I'm not looking to go back.
I'm gonna write that down. Don't go back.
You know, there's definitely mutual respect, and there will always be love, because he he played a very important factor of my adulthood. You know what I mean? Of us growing together. So there will always be that mutual respect. My takeaway from it is I got to experience love. I got to experience having a best friend. I got to experience
Girl, you
a
about to make me
marriage.
cry.
I got to experience I got to experience some real good thing. You know what I mean? A bond that is just is rare. You know what I mean? But I look at it as that chapter had to close in order for me to be where I am today. And I don't regret anything. I'm very happy. I want that man to be happy without me because he deserves happiness. We both deserve happiness. I have no animosity to him. Before I wanted to knock him in the face, but,
Yeah.
change person. That was emotions. But, as you grow older, I generally want everyone, even those I don't even speak to have a good life. Because I do feel everybody deserves to have happiness. And as much as you're moving forward and you're attracting people that represent your future, it doesn't mean you have to have any animosity towards anybody in the past.
Right.
I think someone has a question.
Hold on one second. My phone is very loud.
Okay. As Black folks, how do we change the narrative of needing to come out of comfort zone? Being comfortable is not bad. It's whether or not that comfort is aligned with ours. So, passion or goals. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm a confidence coach, and it's important. There's no growth in comfort. There's no growth in comfort. We have to dance with fear. Fear is our best friend, and fear is our answer to success, because on the other side of fear is the success that you really want. So there's no comfort. And as Black people, as Black folks, we have to change the narrative of, one, listening to what Tom, Dick, and Harry tells us of what they feel like is best for our life. Two, we have to go against the grain. Going against the grain is you stepping out of your comfort. Three, we have to listen to ourselves, because we are the only ones who really know what we want out of life. Nobody else knows that. You know what I mean? And that's what goes back into you knowing yourself. You need to have that confidence. You have to look at fear more positive instead of negative. So I hope that answered your question.
I think, you know what, even me getting to sit down with you, it's eliminating fear even within my own self. Like, you were with your partner for 11 years. You were married. So if I'm sitting here thinking that I can't, or I shouldn't have, or whatever the case is, yes, the fuck I can.
You absolutely
can. Really, and I think that's what it is. Like, the fear is going to hold you back, but that uncomfortable zone, and literally people don't say these things for no reason. Like, all these things that, like, you'll hear life, like, confidence coaches like yourself, or people who are take meditation seriously, they just don't say this shit for no reason.
Yeah.
It is like, you literally have to be uncomfortable to grow. So whatever that's going to take, like, I'm just listening to you, like, if you could do it after that long, like, you can't be afraid to let people go.
Yeah.
You got to go, because on the other side, there is going to be what it's supposed to be divine, what it's supposed to be there, right?
Exactly.
And you're birthing.
I feel like everything happens for a reason. Sorry.
We have 5 minutes left, because these lives only last an hour. So I'm going to quickly, like, open it up. If anyone has any questions, just, like, type that out.
Yeah.
Again, check out Meisha's stuff. She's a confidence coach, and I'll definitely, I mean, you'll be there so people can see. But if anyone has any questions, or if you have any last thoughts, while we have 5 minutes left on the clock for this live, put it out on the table. Letting go of people who don't represent your future. My biggest takeaway is, don't be scared to do that.
Don't be scared. You gotta be a little bit of daredevil. Will this life be saved?
Definitely will be saved.
Yeah. No toxic relationships. No.
No talk.
If it don't make you feel good, let it go. Like some old school music or some home cooked Caribbean food. Let it go.
Okay, save the live. No, this live will definitely be saved. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll leave it at that. Like,
Thank you.
like you know someone that might need to hear this. It'll be on the main page, so you guys can just send it over to someone. And that's the reason why we have these conversations, is so that someone out there definitely needs to hear it. And we'll just keep these convos going, right, and create that space where we can talk about these things that might not be spoken about. So Meisha, love you, girl.
Love you
You're
too,
the
Fina.
best.
Thank
And the
you.
next time we're doing navigating through
Yes.
divorce, marriage and divorce, because people like me, I need to hear those type of things. Marriage and divorce, those are my goals, to be married.
Yes.
And there's another side of it that, like, you got to be prepared for. And if like, you can't talk to single folk to find that out. You got to talk to people who've been married, right?
A Zoom call. Yeah. Oh, that would be dope.
Yeah.
We can hop on a Zoom call. We can have more people like kind of chime in on it. I think that would be pretty dope.
I'll definitely.
Hey, Dee girl.
All right, Meisha girl. So guys, again, Meisha, she will be for sure tagged. You can check her out, tap into what she's into, from Toronto, now in Atlanta. So we're just, keeping the connection and community alive.
Yes.
So until next time.
You guys have questions, shoot me or Fina in our DMs and we'll gladly answer them.
100%. All right, guys. Okay, bye, Meisha.
Bye.